We're going to do chapter 15 today, understanding the Siebel data model. In this chapter, we're going to study the basics of how the Siebel data is organized in the tables in the backend. We know that in a typical client-server application, on the server side, there has to be a database management system, a relational database management system, and that relational system, Oracle is one of the examples. It basically is nothing but a set of tables and columns that are there, and they are all logically connected. We need to understand, a person who designs that, designs that table and column structure. We say that he's basically modeling the data. He's basically making the data schema or the data model. So Siebel is our ready-made application. So it comes with the complete data model. It comes with a complete data schema already built in. Okay. So we will be understanding what is there, and we'll understand the basics of that data model. That is the goal of this exercise, of this module. Okay. In his own words, after completing this module, you will be able to describe the purpose of the Siebel data model. We'll see, what kind of functionality that Siebel has kept in mind while, suggesting the Siebel data model. Okay. Describe the role of primary and foreign keys, indexes, and user keys. We know that Siebel data model or any data model basically has some foreign keys and primary keys. We'll see what are the primary keys and foreign keys in Siebel. And I know you don't know what those are in general. We'll go over that. He knows, he has some idea, he has some idea, he has some idea. We'll make a complete chapter in which I will completely explain what is a primary key, what is a foreign key, what is the use of those keys, and how Siebel data model, what kind of keys are present in the Siebel data model. Right, Hafiz?
Yeah.
Identify prominent tables in the Siebel data model. We'll identify all the major tables. For example, we have all the major entities. Can you name a few entities, Hafiz? What are the main entities? Accounts, contacts, right? And accounts, service request. Perfect. So we will see in which table these service requests are stored. So somewhere it has to be stored, like in an Excel, right? Right? We put a program in front of it so that it doesn't lock the access, Excel for you, but somewhere it has to be in an Excel. It has to be stored in an Excel. Table is really nothing but a table and but an Excel. We'll do all that. Locate foreign keys for different relationships. We know that out of the box, Siebel provides certain relationships like account to contact relationships, contact to opportunity relationships, and so on and so forth. We will locate the foreign keys for that. In general, in an application, if you're making it from scratch, you will make these foreign keys. You will make the provision for these foreign keys. You will design the data schema in a way that there are foreign keys in various tables for various other tables, right? Between two tables, there are foreign keys for one another, things like that. But in Siebel, it's a ready-made application. Foreign keys are already built in for various relationships, right? We will see how, what are those foreign keys and how to locate them and how to find them and so on and so forth, okay? Why you need to know. Enables you to understand how data is accessed in existing Siebel application. This will help you in understanding, how data is accessed in Siebel applications. For example, let's say you want to get certain other data elements in Siebel. So your analysis should go deep enough to think in terms of data schema. Where will it be stored? In which Excel will this SSM be eventually stored? If they say we want to store AMA number also, if they say we want to American Medical Association number for a doctor, or they want to store the Tennessee Medical Association number also, then somewhere it has to be stored also in the Excel. He will enter it here, but somewhere it has to be stored also, right? Then eventually he will go again and then he will pick it again. If he wants to go there again and again, he can retrieve it, he can first save it. So where will it be saved? How will it be saved? That is an ongoing question. It will be coming very easy to you, like how Siebel data schema can be upgraded. It's very simple. And one of our consultants is working on this exercise, how to make sure data schema is upgraded or updated a little bit so that it can accommodate these new data elements that the user is asking for. Okay. Vanilla Siebel. Vanilla Siebel. What is Vanilla Siebel, right? You don't know what is Vanilla Siebel? So Vanilla Siebel is a ready-made application with client, with server, with database already done. Everything is done, right? So in order to customize it, like let's say you want to customize Ferrari, you should know the basic structure of the engine as well. Is it right? So we need to know the basic engine structure also. So database is pretty much the building blocks on which the whole thing resides. We'll in this chapter we'll find out what are the various building blocks of Siebel. Okay, and what are the various concepts around that, so that we can understand the building blocks. Okay, enables you to map your business logic to the Siebel data model. When a new requirement comes, one of the important things you should be able to see in the GUI UV provider. Let's say he says, I want. Do you know what is an AMA number? American Medical Association number. Every doctor or hospital has one AMA number. Let's say. See, Siebel out of the box doesn't provide a provision to enter this AMA number. See, there is no place where you can write the AMA number. Siebel actually does not even provide the place to write TIN number. Every account will be having a TIN. You know what is a TIN? Azim, do you know what is a TIN?
It's an
tax identification number. Every business in America has to have a TIN, a federal TIN number. Okay, and they need to have an employment ID. There are hundreds of ID. Well, not hundreds. There are like less than 10 or somewhere equivalent to 10 IDs that a company should have. One is DNB number, Dun and Bradstreet number. Okay, yeah, so Dun and Bradstreet number. Okay, so there are so many numbers a company can have, right? Let's say the users say, for us, DNB number is very important. For every account, please make a place for us to enter it. So obviously, in this applet also, in the bottom applet also, you are supposed to provide a number here, a place to enter this DNB number here, right? Once this is entered, you need to provide a place to store it also in the database. Is it right?
Yeah, yes.
Right? So requirements, when you are thinking about the requirements, you think more in terms of the data model. When you're entering new fields, new information, you need to think in terms of what data model can support. If data model cannot support, you cannot build anything on top of it. Even if you make a place to enter, if it is not stored, it is useless. Is it right? So, making sense to you, sir? So, you need to think, whenever we are designing the application, design bottom up. No, okay. We need to think in terms of the data model as well. After when we design, we first make this is what I need, then you go down and think up to the data model. So we have a top-down design approach. So you go top, then you keep you need AMA number, then you keep going down and think all the way till the data model, whether it is possible or not. This simple thing that entering a field here is basically equivalent to entering a new field in the Excel. It's stored in the Excel form, right? The data is stored in the Excel. So just enter a new field, it will get stored there. Right? So this is pretty simple. Okay, so we'll see if there is any tricky thing Siebel has to offer to you. I can just bet you, if you understood this, what I just said, then there is really nothing more tricky than this. And I have a person calling me every day, one of my consultants. So we need to understand these basic data concepts. I just gave you an example. When you get a new field, how it gets treated, and why you need to know, and how will the Siebel data model knowledge will help. How will this help you in order to come up with the right design? You just have to tweak the things a little bit here and there. You don't have to do anything, a big change, or you don't have to design the whole data model. Okay. So we'll just go over this data model a little bit. Okay. Provide information that will be important in addressing performance. So Siebel data model directly affects the performance. Okay. The way Siebel data model works, that you have to understand how to analyze the performance issues. So you guys will not be the best candidates to do that. There are certain basic parameters that you should keep in mind really to do this while making the design, but it's actually the job of technical architect to mind that. Still, you guys should be knowing the basics, what basically affects. Simple thing is, if there are 1 million records and you go to a view which has 1 million records, it's going to take some time to come, right? So number of records is going to be determining the speed, right? There are other small things as well. Okay. All right. Defines how the Siebel data model defines how the data used by Siebel applications is stored in a standard third-party relational database. Just to let you know, although Siebel has its own data model and all that stuff, the only thing is we still need Oracle to do what? To provide a place where Siebel can create its tables and columns. So tables and columns are a logical structure that you create on top of this Oracle. Oracle just comes with nothing, just Oracle. It's nothing. It's like a land. You build your foundation in it. So Siebel is basically ready to go foundation, complete building with foundation itself. So you just bring the whole building and dig a hole and put it in, right? But you still need the land, even if the whole building is present along with the foundation. Okay, so this is just the basic analogy. So we do need Oracle too. The only thing is tables and columns are created by Siebel. So when we say that, does Siebel provide database? We always say yes. Siebel just comes out with Siebel does come out of the box with the complete database. But the fact is that you still need Oracle or the land. Does Siebel come out with the foundation? Yes, it does. The whole thing is there. The only thing is you still need the land to create that, to put that thing in. So tables and columns, Siebel, yes, Siebel does provide. The only thing is you still need a third-party relational database. What is third-party, guys? What is third-party insurance? Liability insurance in India, that liability in America is same as third-party in India, but we'll still go over it.
Yeah,
All right. So he says that Siebel stores this thing in a third-party application. So who are the first two parties in this case?
Siebel and the customer.
Siebel and the company. Let's say BCBS is using Siebel. So BCBS is first, Siebel is second, third party will be Oracle or Microsoft or IBM. They all three make some RDBMS software. Okay. So third party. So please just sit for a while and think what is third party and what does third party mean in general and why there is a third party insurance. What does it mean and why it is called as third party, not first and second party. All right. So is designed to support the data requirements across Siebel e-business applications. The current thing is basically made keeping in mind the vanilla Siebel. What are all the Siebel stuff you see in the GUI? There are placeholders for that in the backend, in the Oracle RDBMS, in the database. Okay. He is saying that field and business component, we remember that they define the business logic, and this column and table defines how data storage organized, makes up the data model. This is what really data model means. This box, column, table, this box together really what data model means. Whereas field, business component, business object, they mean the business logic there. We will not be too concerned about this and the upper one, the applets and the screen and things like that. We just want to talk about this. We want to talk about, it's pretty much Excels. The tables and columns are nothing but Excels. Siebel eventually stores the data in an Excel file. Not in one, but there are like 2,000 Excel files, right? Although it does that, when somebody wants to enter data, he doesn't enter it in Excel directly. He enters it in an applet, Siebel takes it, then puts it in the Excel when Excel is free. Okay. So that's precisely what it means. There is one more thing that we need to remember. Siebel also, when you want to say, I want to enter this contact who's already existing in this Excel, and I want to put it in this, this invoice Excel. I want to put, how much amount, whom I'm billing, what I'm billing for, and whom I'm billing. Okay. So I want to put the contact name here. It should be validated against this name of contacts in the other Excel. Is it right?
It should be present.
It should be present in one of them. So this validation also is done by this business logic layer, right? And this
can you just go over it again?
Sure. So in this profession, you're entering this profession data. What is his address? What is his? And then somewhere you're entering his account name, the account that he belongs to. Showing you basically two Excels. One is an account Excel in which account name and everything is written, and then another one opportunities are written, and these account names are the ones which have to be same as entered here. They cannot be different from here, right? This is our goal. Otherwise the data integrity is wrong, right? So opportunity data will get corrupt. We will not know which account they are related to if account names are not entered properly here. That's one of the important goals that we had, and which we kept in mind while rejecting Excel and using something else. Is it right? Server does all this work. Server does all this work. Okay. Server at this layer, server works at this layer, and basically, makes the logical connection between various things. Okay. Siebel goes one more step ahead. Let me tell you one more step. What is that step? Let's say this opportunity has A&E Department 1. By mistake, user enters two accounts, A&E Department 1 and another account with A&E Department 1. Can it happen in Siebel? We remember that. See, there was this account which was having same. We could enter two accounts with the same name, right? These are accounts with the same name, right? So you tell me which account this is referring to. It is not clear. It is not clear, right? So we should not be keeping account name here. We should be keeping something else of the account. By making a connection, right? User will use his logic to make a connection. He knows he's entered this account, then he should be using the same account. He knows. But Siebel cannot store this because otherwise Siebel will get confused. While bringing the data back, Siebel will get confused which account it is referring to. Is it right? So while storing the data, what Siebel does is Siebel assigns.
Or Siebel can ask for additional information?
Siebel can ask for a lot of information, but still name is wrong. And Siebel cannot store the name here. Is it right? Name could be duplicate, right? So Siebel, what Siebel does is Siebel assigns a row ID to every this thing.
Break it down.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're right. I can do that. You're right. You're right. Okay. And Siebel should keep this number over there, so that there is never any confusion. At least in Siebel's working. Now Siebel will never get confused. User has done a lot of errors. He might get confused. He has kept the same entry. He has entered the duplicate records. But Siebel will never. Siebel's reference will never be confusing. Is it right? So Siebel just stores a key here, just the row ID of this guy here, saying that this particular account, this particular opportunity is regarding this number 1. Is it right? And this is that number 1. Siebel gets all the information about that number 1 from here. So Siebel has basically extended your Excel to work with it, right? Because you can make errors. The reps can make errors. The reps can enter the duplicate records. They can even enter duplicate SSN. For example, let's say accounts 10 are written here. They probably will be duplicate, right? They will never be duplicate, right? Let's say, right, as 10. Right, 10. So it will be 111, 12, 111, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 111, 12, 1, 2, 3, 5, 111. These are the sample 10s that people will be having, the companies will be having. So Siebel can even store these 10s here. Is it right, sir? Because they will be unique. They can never be duplicate. Names can be duplicate of the people. And by the way, is it possible that the people can enter duplicate name? That's one thing. Maybe in the real world, people can have duplicate name. Reps, right? John Smith could be there. So we can never use name. We should be using something like SSN. But again, we are being dependent upon user data entry. Can they enter wrong SSN? So Siebel will get confused. If Siebel stores the SSN here, Siebel will get confused. So Siebel will store its every time you enter somebody, reps enter somebody, Siebel will assign a unique row ID to that. And then in the other Excels, it will reference that ID instead of referencing the name or the SSN. Because if somebody enters another person with the same SSN, then Siebel will get confused. This opportunity is attached to which SSN? Is right?
But in
he's saying this opportunity could be connected to a contact Excel and to an account Excel. Is it right? Account will be having 1 to 10. Contact will be having 1 to 10, right? So this one, but then you'll be entering it in a specific column. So you know this particular 1 to 3 is basically referring to the account Excel only. Is it right? And if you want to refer this opportunity to, then you have to create another column, which is a contact reference, right? You'll be giving it 1, 1, 1, 1, whatever. Sorry, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, whatever. But I know which one is referring to contact Excel and which one is referring to account Excel, right? I'm not going to get confused now. This one is for contact Excel. This one, I should not be going to this Excel for that. I should be going to that professional Excel for that. Is it right? That was your point, right? So all the just a thing for you. Siebel, for example, you see the opportunity record. In this opportunity, this is the name of the opportunity, this is the account name, right? It does not mean that there is an opportunity Excel in the database or in the opportunity table in the database where opportunity name and account name are written side by side. It really means to me is these could be in two, the opportunity name and account name can be in two separate Excel, and the opportunity table or in the opportunity Excel, only the reference to the account is saved.
Okay, let's suppose if I want to make a search, if I want to get A&E department in the accounts, okay, I'll write A&E departments and it will collect it from
Yes.
same source.
Sure.
And if I want to do it
in
opportunity,
yes, let's do that.
okay.
See, let's do that. This is a list of all the accounts that are there, and I'm searching among them, so I can connect it to any of those. Perfect. Perfect. First, puts it back in the applet here. Siebel needs to combine the data, which it has stored differently.
Okay, and so if I want to make a search for a company which I don't know either it's stored in opportunities, professional accounts, or site management.
It will always be in accounts. Company will always be in an account. Right?
Okay.
Company will always be in an
Let's
account.
suppose if I don't know, how will I make a search?
Then you will go to account and make a search.
Okay.
Right? If I how many mails are there?
Yeah.
834. 834.
Yeah.
Okay. And there are 1089 new ones in this one. I will not go to that thing. See, there are 1084 in this one. Old email till November 2006. These ones I got after November 2006. Okay. So kind of the emails that I get, the thing that you're talking about, searching and finding information properly, is everyday job here for me. Because I get a lot of emails from Rails people. That's my idea.
Okay.
What is my point? My point is that thing that you're saying, after knowing how to query, after knowing how to search, is if I don't find something, that's a skill too. You're right. Even using Siebel is a skill too. Even using Hotmail is a skill too. To find an email in my mailbox is a very important skill. If I ask you to find Southwest Airlines ticket that I reserved on November 2006, you won't be able to find easily. It's going to take you some time to find that. Making sense to you? So yes, you're right. At the end of the day, using Siebel also becomes a skill. And it is right. They do have difficulty. They will call you. I'm not able to find this record. What happened? Can you please tell me that account record? I entered it 2 days back. Where is it? So and so forth. And you have seen some emails from users like that, right? Yeah. From me, right? I showed you some emails, right? They were like, what is this project record? Basically, there's a thing called as a project, software installation project in my office. And they don't find it many a time. I got an email from somebody, there are 31 records, I had to find where those are, why they did not exist.
You showed us that.
Exactly. So, they were doing a poor job of finding things, because there are like 15,000, no, maybe more than that actually. 15,000 just related to my work. And there are more than that, maybe 50-60,000 projects in Siebel, and they do not know how to find theirs. Making sense? So yes.
So why they were not assigned an ID?
There were reasons behind that, so those are the things that I have troubleshot.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the things. Yep, perfect. Good line of questioning. Exactly. This is what I want you to think. All right. So the way Excel works, Siebel stores it in Excel, but Siebel assigns its own columns for managing those Excels very well. So while referencing the data, so that you reference it properly, right? And in the GUI also, Siebel provides very good functions or features. In the GUI means what you see here is GUI. What you see when you're working on it, you're working in a very easy manner, right? So you're working on Hotmail GUI, graphical user interface. Okay, right? This is Windows GUI. This is Windows GUI. GUI, graphical user interface, right?
This is basically is it page or
it is what is this? What is this? If you say you go to Google, right? What is that? What is that?
You get all graphics and all that.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah. It's just
all the graphs. You see how GOGLE and you put it there. A user put it there. You know?
Okay, let's say you want to go to images. You click here, you go to images. So that's GUI. That's a design that you click on this button, you click on this hyperlink, you get to go to a different page.
Yeah.
You come to click on this, you see a different thing. This is a GUI way of working. You click on this.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Right? Right? Do you know elements? See, GUI is up against CLI, command line interface. See, do you remember those days when you used to write copy command in DOS? Do you remember that? Was it easy or difficult?
I don't know. You have to
Type
everything. You have to
Did you ever do errors and all, and was it ever buggy? I personally hated it because he always used to mistype. I am a mistyper. He also mistyped it twice, right? Everybody mistypes.
Yeah.
People hate it all the time. People want to work in a GUI manner. They drag and drop and it gets copied.
Okay.
Right? That's graphical user interface. That's the whole funda behind it. Now the thing has gone too far. That is 10 years back. That's why the name graphical user interface.
Why is it called user interface?
Because users are interfacing with the system through this.
Okay.
Right? So now the thing has
the meaning of it.
Oh yeah. And why it's called a graphical? Because it's a graphical way.
Yeah, okay.
Right? A non-command line interface. Now it has gone next step. As he said, they have come up with a method of developing softwares that let's design GUI separate from the database. Design the separate database, design a separate GUI. So that if you want to change the GUI, database doesn't get affected. You don't have to change the database.
Yeah.
If you want to change the database, you don't have to change the GUI. So they want to maintain this separation between these two guys. And then there is a thing called a server. So then third three-tier architecture came. That server will be lying in the middle, GUI will be on the top, and at lowermost will be the database. This is how it works.
Instead of server,
for the GUI client,
application instead of server, all the code.
You know, you enter data or the users enter data in GUI clients. It goes to server, server munches it, changes it, defragmentizes it, fragmentizes it, puts it in database. Whatever he wants to do, it does it. Then, if database, if client says, I want this data, GUI client you make a search query, that I want this data. So request goes to server receives it, validates that whether you have the access to the data or not, whether you should be or not be accessing the database, munches all this, go to database, gets all the data, gives it to the in the client. Yeah, right. For example, when you are coming here, you clicked on my opportunities, right? You clicked on opportunities, and it gives you. If you click on my team's opportunities, if you click on all opportunities, see this request. This is the Siebel GUI. It is going to the server of Siebel. Server is munching this thing. Mr. S admin, I'm logged in as S admin. S admin is requesting the access to all the opportunities, whether he has access or not. You know. Then okay, he has. He checks all that. Then he goes to the database, gets all the opportunities. Then he goes to the account name. Then he goes to the account access, gets all the accounts name, logically connects it, because he has to give you opportunity and the account name. Whereas in database it may not be like that. As I said, it will be opportunity name and the account ID. Is it right? Then it will logically connect all this, puts it back in the GUI. That's all. So when we are developing things, we will be also thinking there's three things differently. We'll be saying, okay, let's make Siebel GUI. Let's make Siebel business logic there. And let's make Siebel database there. These are the three logical way of grouping the various constructs that we make. If you have to develop the software, if you have to develop a car, you'll be thinking, we'll get the tires from Firestone, we'll get the rims from this thing, engine from this thing. Let's say we are making a laptop, we'll get the hard disk from Hitachi, we'll get the motherboard from something, we'll get the processor from Intel, we'll get the mouse from Microsoft, we'll get the touchpad from IBM, we'll get the screen from Fujitsu. We can think like that, right? Similarly, these are logically, this computer can be disconnected into these parts. Software can be typically connected into three parts. GUI, business logic, and the database. We'll get the database from Oracle. We'll make this GUI using VB, and we'll make the GUI and server using VB. This is how you always think of that. Okay. Making sense? So when you're designing the project, making the project plan, you'll be thinking who will design the GUI, who will make the business components, and who will make this thing, who will make the data model. Okay? So I've given you a rough idea. Things are out of place from reality, a little bit out of place. It's not exactly that the way it works, but I get you a very good basic idea about how the things work. And now you pretty much know what GUI means, right? The idea, this is the portion where the data gets combined. He's saying all this data which gets combined, it basically is stored in tables and columns. We'll now see how this is stored. We have already covered most of the slides, let me tell you, in our discussion. Okay. You know, I went with your flow rather than with the flow of this guy. You ask questions, I told you the answers. Okay, so that was rather better than just trying to go through each and every slide. He says that data model for vertical applications is different. Vertical applications means like industry specific applications like Siebel e-pharma, Siebel e-financial, Siebel e-retail. So he says that the data models for everybody is a little bit different. I will tell you where to go to see the data model for things. Common data model, common tables and their columns, I will let you know beforehand. Let's say you're gonna go work in Siebel e-financials, I'll let you know the common tables and columns there. You guys will be knowing before you go. Okay, you don't need to cram all 2000 tables. I've never even seen some of them. Okay, personally. So you don't need to do all that, but you need to understand how these tables get connected. That's what we're going to study. We already did a lot of it. Okay. Understanding the data model. In order to develop and install a Siebel application, you need to understand what data is stored in the Siebel database, the pieces that make up the Siebel database, the rules and policies for using those pieces, the consequences of those rules and policies. Let's do that. The pieces to understand are table, columns, indexes, user keys, and primary and foreign keys. Tables and columns will study very well. User keys will study a little bit. Indexes will not study because we are not going to become an Oracle database administrator. Indexes, the middle one. Primary and foreign keys is very important for our work. We'll study that very, very well so that we never ever confuse primary and foreign key. Siebel data is stored in normalized tables in a relational database. Okay. By the way, sir, this way of storing data, that you store account here, contact here, and then you maintain the relationship between them, is called as a relational type of storing. Relational. And Oracle is #1 company in the world to manufacture a relational database which helps you in storing data like this. There are other ways of storing. I do not know what those are. Their names I can tell you. Network database model management system, hierarchical database management system. Mustafa, have you ever gotten the exposure to the unimportant thing, the thing that I told you, network database management systems and hierarchical database? They're like 30-year-old systems, 40-year-old systems. Some of the older companies are still having it, like American Express does have it, I know. If you go there by chance one day, then probably you'll be doing that. But there is like a very little chance you'll be working on a hierarchical or a network database management system. You will most probably be working on an RDBMS. Siebel, and by the Siebel, oh yeah, not most probably, 100%. Siebel is only RDBMS. Siebel supports only RDBMS. So Siebel supports Oracle, IBM DB2, and Microsoft SQL Server. These are the three main products that Siebel supports. Okay. Normalized tables. What is a normalized table? Office. All right. See, we are storing this account 1 here as a reference to that actual account, right? Right. If you see very clearly, we are saving the space also, because account name is a long name, and I'm just storing now 3-digit or 4-digit thing here, right? So I'm basically saving the space also. So this thing helped me in more than one way. Other thing is, let's say I want to access, account has more information, not just the account name, right? It has account PIN, account site, account address, right? I could have asked for all this information here too. Actually, I do have account name, account site, and address here in the opportunity field, right? It doesn't mean that all this information is existing in the opportunity Excel. No, it is being picked from the account Excel, right? In opportunity, what is existing? Just one ID, number 1, that's it. Number 2, or number 3, or number 4, or number 5, right? Whatever, right? If I were to store all these parameters here in the opportunity Excel itself, like this, right? Then I'm storing all the parameters of account right here. Is it right? Had I not been storing this 1, 2, 3, had I been storing the name and everything here, my database size would have been much, much bigger. The amount of space that I would have required would have been much, much bigger. By storing only a reference here, we have to store the account information only once. Let's say this same account information. Name was Albany, right? It would have been like site Donaldson, address 111. This same information would have repeated here because this second opportunity is also from the same account. it would have repeated here, right?
Okay.
So I am reducing all this to just one thing. Don't have all these things. Don't have all these fields. Just have, and don't have even have account name. Just have account number or account ID. Isn't it right?
Okay.
I have normalized the access. The table. These are normalized because that was redundant data. Why are we storing it twice? Why don't we store it in a separate Excel and just reference it with one ID? It is a redundant data. Why are we storing it again and again?
Okay.
Right? When it was appearing 4 times, it was a redundancy, right? Site was also appearing twice, address was also appearing twice, would have appeared twice had we stored it like that. But we have avoided redundancy by normalizing it. That's how we say. So there are 4 levels of normalization. There are different levels of normalization. So I don't know which one is this. Nobody will ask you the levels of our normalization, but you should know this basic concept that whenever you want to store the data, 2 related data, you don't want to store it in one place. You want to store it in 2 separate Excels, right? And in one Excel, you will maintain the reference to the other one, to the corresponding data records in the other one, right? So that you save space. You know how much saves your space by this simple thing? Can you guess? Simple data would be at least having 100 times, would be requiring at least 100 times more space if you don't do this thing. It is it increases the need for the space exponentially. You know, right? Exponential increases are always high. 100 times we have saved the space. Let's say how much is the memory, how much is the hard disk in your laptop? 100 GB. And you know that if you want 100 TB, you'll have to shrug top dollars. So we are talking about a lot of saving right there. If you can reduce our storage capacity requirements by 100 times, we are talking about a lot of saving. Is it right?
Yeah.
Plus a lot of less error also. Let's say somebody wants to change the name of account, right? It can happen, right? If I want to change the name of the account now, I don't have to go to otherwise I have to go to all these opportunities and change the name in all these opportunities. Albany General Hospital is now Albany General Hospital Inc. Ting, 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 ting. All those 2000 records, 2000 opportunities which are having Albany General Hospital as their account have to be updated. But now by maintaining a reference, I have to update it only in the account Excel where it appears only once. Is it right? Only in this Excel. I just change it here. Done. Now engine will not make a mistake. Engine will now not make a mistake. It will go from one. It will know wherever one appears. It knows this is the account he's talking about, and the new name is changed already there. So it will not make an error now.
But the number will not change. It's there.
Next number will remain, because number will remain the same.
ID remain the same.
ID will remain the same. Yes. Right. So let's say somebody mistypes John one day, Jon. Next day he realizes it is Jon. He's already entered opportunities with this John. Do you think he needs to go back and change all those opportunities? No. He just goes to the contact and changes it and have the peace of mind. Rest assured, everything has been taken care of. Because of the fact that
everything is changed automatically.
Yes, data model has been designed like this. It does not, the data model is designed like this. It does not maintain the John in opportunity and the fresh and other tables or in the invoice table. It is just maintaining it in contact table. Once he changes it in the contact Excel, it gets taken care of automatically in the rest of the places. Because the rest of the places have the reference using a ID. Okay? Making sense? That's the whole funda behind RDBMS theory. That we reduce the need for the space by normalizing the data. We reduce the need for the processing also. Once we are entering the data, we don't need to store it at 20 places. We just need to store it at one place. So we are reducing the processing that we need, right? Right? By the way, your processing requirements have been reduced exponentially too. How many processors do you have? One, right? If you want to have hundreds of processors, do you think it will cost you a little bit?
No,
It will be quite high. So if you reduce the processing requirements also, you're talking about a lot of saving.
Obviously, once your data size is reduced, you don't need much processing.
But in this context, we can clearly see to store data is one thing, you need the space. To store data at every place, you need to make 100 times same thing. Right? If we reduce that, we are doing a lot of work. We're saving a lot of work. So all these things are happening because of the fact that relational database is normalized. sorry, Siebel database, Siebel data schema, table and column structure is a normalized schema. Each table has multiple columns storing single value data. You all know that. I think that is the same way we do in Excel also. Each Excel sheet has multiple columns, right? Storing single value data, right? Right? Or do you put the site and description right here in this same field? No, we want to put description in a different field and site in a different field. Is it right? So that's what he's trying to say in English. Poor job. He's doing a poor job. He's confusing everybody, right? Each table has multiple columns storing single value data. Okay. Okay. Right. He wants to store revenue and probability. He will be basically is trying to say there will be a separate column for that. Revenue and probability will not be in one column.
Okay.
That's what you will do also, right?
Yeah.
So that's what he's saying.
Okay.
Siebel does that way only. Okay. Data schema is organized to eliminate repeated storage of data. That I already explained to you. Repeated storage of data has been eliminated, right? Account will be stored only once. Yes, once, right? Let's say person. This is a methodology that is used for that opportunity, right? Let's say for a particular opportunity, I am the sales rep. I am using 3 sales methodologies, not one. I am using only one, right? In the Excel, there is space for only one, right? Is it right? If I want to do 3, what will you change in the Excel? Just in the Excel, forget tables and columns. Just in the Excel, how will you do it?
I don't understand the question.
Okay. Let's say. Okay, let's say something else. Simple thing. Okay. Okay, person working on this opportunity. Okay, GS, right? GS is one method. So you understand that now, right? Let's say there is, so one person is working on, you can put it in the field.
Okay.
Let's say there are 2 people working on it. How will you put that here?
On top of it. Like I'll put the second person name in the second.
But if you put the second, no, basically this is the record for this account, right? This opportunity, right? This is for test opportunity 1, 2 to 4, right? So if I put it here, then it will be basically the person working, this space is reserved for the person working on test 1. Isn't it right? This space is reserved for the person working on test 1. You cannot put the name of other person here.
Okay. Okay.
Making sense?
So I'll put it where
No, I can tell you one method, simple method.
create my column.
No, yeah, well, the simpler method, let's have one method. This is one method, right? I will put GS comma Azim, right? In Excel, that's how we do it, right? When we want to put 2 or 3 values, we just put it here. He is saying in Siebel, this is not allowed. If you want to put 2 values, you cannot do that because every column and every field should be having how many values? He says it very clearly here, single values only. Okay, so now we have to come up with another schema. We have to change the scheme a little bit, right? So let's do that. You said very good idea. I'll use that idea. Okay, so I'll remove it from here. I'll make another column, right? That's what you said, sir?
Yeah.
That's a very good idea. That is the way everybody will do. Okay, right? I will call it person 2. Is it right? So it should go like this, right? So let's say for test 1 the person are Hafiz and Azim again. Okay, let's say on test 2 there is only one guy, Mustafa, right? That's it. It will be just now like anything else, right? Right?
So
Perfect.
basically test 1, Hafiz and Azim.
Yeah, test, yes, exactly. And test 2 only Mustafa. And test our class of t-test nobody. And pull through arrow John and GS again. Is it right? It is possible, right? This is one way of solving. I have a question now. Let's say 3 people can work on an opportunity. Then you'll add another column. Let's say 4 people can work on an opportunity. You'll add another column. Let's say 2000 can work. Will you make 2000 columns? No. This should be a better way of doing things, right? You have to make that some interlinks. We'll do that. Down the line we'll do that. But that's a good idea. Interlink. We'll do some interlinking. Okay? We'll do that in a short while. We'll come up with a way to store whenever there is a, for one thing, there are many things that have relationship. So these are the people, right, who are in the company. Out of this, many people can work on this opportunity, not just one. If it is two, still we can do it easily. If it is but indeterminable number, then we have to do some interlinking. Is it right? That's what you're saying, right? We'll do that in a short while. Okay? So, but here the point is, column stores single value. You understood very importantly what this particular property of this line, what kind of constraint it is putting on your thinking.
Yeah.
Right? You cannot put commas and store it there. Right? Okay. Perfect, sir?
Yeah. Can I put two values in one
in one cell.
column?
In one cell.
Yeah,
In one cell.
Yeah.
Right? Perfect. You can put multiple. Okay, that's fine. Primary key is a column that uniquely identifies each row in a table. Because you realized that we need to have, for every account we need to assign a row ID, right? Right? Every time Siebel stores a new account, can Siebel afford to forget to assign a new row ID now? No. It has to put. By the way, do you think it has to be unique, or it can be duplicate also? When Siebel is assigning a row ID to every account, do you think it can be duplicate?
It cannot be a duplicate.
It cannot be a duplicate. That is the idea behind having this thing, right? It has to be auto-generated. You cannot rely on the users. Can you? You can rely on the users to put this thing because they will put duplicate.
Okay, the ID is generated by Siebel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Making sense now, right? So it has few properties. This column, special column, 1, 2, 3 column, this has some special properties. First of all, it should be system generated. It cannot be entered by people, the users. Second property, it has to be unique. Siebel has to make sure, or any system for that matter has to make sure that they generate a unique number. Third property, it has to be present for every it has to be present for every row. Siebel cannot afford to leave it blank. Is it right?
Yeah.
Is it right? Now that in all the whole of the RDBMS theory, we are having this particular special column. Why don't we give it a name? So when I come to you and ask you, can you show me the table? And can you tell me which column is that, which is having this value? There might be similar columns, right? I might not be knowing which column is, and we call it primary key. It has a very special name, primary key. Everybody has a nose, we call it nose, right? That's why we have a name for it, because everybody has it, right?
Okay.
Right?
Right.
So same way, because every table in the world, RDBMS table in the world has a primary key, so we have a name for it. We call this particular, they have this kind of column, we call it primary key. So if I come to you and ask you, hey, have you made this table? Yes. Can you tell me what is the primary key in this? This is a usual question that I will always ask, because I don't want to make an error. If I'm making a program or something on the basis of that, I'll keep that in mind that that is a unique one, that is the auto-generated one, that is the non-corrupted one, that is the thing that I need to work with, right? So primary key is the name for that unique key, for that system auto-generated key, for that non-nullable field. Non-nullable, system auto-generated, unique. These are the things, right, that we discussed, right? Unique, non-nullable are some of the important properties of primary key, right? These are some of the important properties. There are other small properties which probably are not coming in this discussion. If this ever come, I'll bring it to your notice. But I think you already understand what all this means, right? In Siebel has gone one step ahead. In every table, there will be a column called as row underscore ID. I don't even have to ask you. Row underscore ID is the primary key of this. If there's some other system like SAP, VB, Oracle, some other system, I have to go and ask the developer, can you please tell me the primary key in this? But if it is Siebel, I don't even have to ask you. The primary key is always named row underscore ID, right? right?
So basically, all the IDs are which are assigned to rows are.
For example, there is a table called as s_prod_int. For example, there is a table called as s_prod_int. Siebel is saying the name of the product is stored in name. The part number, the number of the product is stored in here. UM_code is stored here. I don't know what is that. Forget that. But row ID is the primary key. The row ID, system generated unique key, is stored in the row ID. Just as you enter a product name, it is stored there. Okay.
So basically, primary key means that it's a key through which you can have.
Give you a feel that row ID looks like this. It is not like 1, 2, 3. It is like a very funky number.
Yeah.
Okay. Because they have to generate like millions of such numbers. You know, so they are like 1-855D. By the way, Siebel row ID has its own personality. This hyphen and this sequence of alphanumeric characters is every time you see a row ID number like this, you will be able to spot that this is a Siebel row ID. So you got my point. Sometimes these row IDs are used as a foreign key somewhere else. So you can look at these and you can say, oh, this is a Siebel row ID.
Okay.
For the time being, it's redundant, doesn't make much sense to you, but when it will come again, we'll see that it will be useful information. Right now, it's important. But important thing is you can have a good feel of Siebel row IDs. It is usually the first column also.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So whatever opportunities we are entering, let's say we enter a new opportunity. Let me enter a new opportunity here. Right. So let me look for this thing. I'll try to look for this thing. Okay. I'm coming here and I make a query in this sample thing. Okay. I'll look for the name is Azim, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there is nothing like Azim right now, right? Is it right? Let's store it now. Now it is stored by stepping onto in Siebel you step off. It is there now. Okay? It is pretty much storing like an Excel. I'll show you. Pretty much. See?
Basically, it's all this data is stored in Access or Excel, right?
It is stored. You're right. All the data is stored in Excel or Access type of stuff. Similar way of organizing. So it's just different. These are all different price and different. They have just Oracle is just more powerful, right?
Basically, it's customized.
Huh?
Customized.
No.
No, it's
No, I'm not talking about Siebel, I'm talking about Oracle now. You said that, see, when we're comparing RDBMS, various RDBMSs, we should be comparing to other RDBMS. Oracle, SQL Server, DB2, Access. Well, Excel is not an RDBMS, but it is a way to store data. So let's compare all this. Excel is just $200 and it is not even an RDBMS. So it's not at all powerful. The data looks the same, but there is no functionality on top of it. You cannot restrict the data from being entered depending on certain conditions. You cannot validate the data, isn't it? In Access, you can validate the data, but it is not powerful. It cannot support many users, right? And it cannot support a lot of servers. It is just not powerful. Oracle is very powerful. And actually, the most powerful RDBMS is DB2. Is it right? And DB2 is very expensive also. And only some big corporations have used DB2. So DB2 is very expensive. So Microsoft also has a small brother of Oracle called a SQL Server. That's a pretty powerful tool. That's pretty powerful too. So many companies use that on top of Siebel. Sorry, under Siebel. Siebel runs on top of Oracle database, right? So they do use SQL Server and they use Siebel on top of it. So many companies do that too. Okay, but Access Siebel is not even compatible with Access. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So it's pretty much like like car industry as we explained. I just want to call it again. Toyota Corolla, it also has an internal combustion engine and it also has seats and steering wheel and similar mechanisms. Ferrari also has the same. The price difference is huge. One is for 10,000, the other one is for $500,000. Right? Person like me and you can justify it and cannot justify it in a half an hour discussion. We'll come up with various ideas. But if you want to just come up with one idea why it is so expensive, really it's more powerful. That's it. It's more powerful, it has more features. Right? But then if you start getting into nitty-gritty, this feature does not seem to be warranting that much price. probably will both include that it's just a facade, it's just a hoopla. Is it right? Similar thing in this software world also. These various products, they are really accesses for like you can get it for $1,000, and Oracle is for like $250,000. More than that? Much more than that. Yeah. So you might say it's hoopla, you might say yes, it does give you this thing. Personally thinking, I think it does give you some
But
advantage.
normally these so expensive.
Yeah. So to answer your question, do the companies utilize Oracle to the full potential? I would say in general, yes, they do. In case of Siebel, do they utilize to the full potential? I'll tell you what is the right. There's another way to think. That's your job. That is what your job is. BA says, don't buy this model of Siebel. It is a useless thing. Why do you want to use this thing? Why are you spending money on this? Buy 80 licenses. Why do you want to buy 19 licenses? That's the BA's role. Okay, that's what you guys do.
Your job
That's
is to
one
show
of
the
the
company
things-
how to cut down their expense.
That's one of the things that you guys do. You know Siebel functionality very well. You know a lot about this car called as Ferrari, this expensive car. You say, why are you putting a spoiler? Why don't you put this $20 spoiler on it? Things like that. It will make it look good. It will make it more useful. Things like that. You'll be giving recommendations like this. Okay, making sense to you? Okay. So yes, it is one of the things. Oracle definitely is utilized a lot. I know that for sure. Oracle does provide it. The power is used. It is useful. If it is like 1 million records, I think SQL Server 1 million, 10, 20 million records, SQL Server will hang a lot. Right? And when your company's SQL Server hangs, let's say Walmart's Oracle database hangs, they lose $1 billion in one day. People will not come back next day. So they lose that $1 billion. Walmart can really spend a huge amount of money just to make sure they are 24/7. Right? These guys like Yahoo and Hotmail and eBay, Amazon is a 24/7 thing because Amazon Japan is there, Amazon Europe is there, Amazon India, Amazon US is there, Amazon Asia is there. So it is used round the clock. Is it right? Amazon ships to Japan right from here. So if their server is hanging for like 10 minutes, we are talking about tens of millions of dollars. Right? Easily, right?
Yeah.
Walmart is a perfect example. Walmart is a perfect example. They are talking about a lot of money. Right? Right? We understood all this data. It is a column, right? We understand that. Contains a Siebel application generated identifier.
SQL application generator
System generated identifier, right? In this case, right? That is unique. We understand that part. It is across all tables. That we did not do. We said in that particular table it is unique. We did that part. In that table it is unique.
No, it will be if there are two tables, so there will be two different unique IDs in column.
In general, it is not required. In general, it is not required. That's what I said, right? In general, it is not required. Do you remember that? Okay, let's see that. I've opened this professional table also, and I'm assigning the row IDs to that 1, 2, 3, which are similar to the account row IDs, right?
Okay.
Right. Okay. Then I go to the opportunity table, and I will be putting those here 1, 2.
Same.
Similar thing, but they're in the separate columns. There is no conflict.
Oh.
There is no conflict, right? Right? Why Siebel does that? Okay, beyond my skill, but I can tell you one thing. Siebel does not keep it unique across all tables for sure. It is a wrong statement. It's a lie. Siebel does not keep it across all tables. I'll show you in a second. I have a way to tell you. So let me take the liberty to say, rather than finding one such instance, I would rather say, just remember that it is not unique across all tables. There are some tables called as extension tables, and they are supposed to have as a rule the same row ID as the base table. Okay, so it's kind of not a good rule. And mobile users.
Yeah.
I don't know why is it saying that. I think let's ignore that for a while. Okay, is a means by which Siebel application maintain referential integrity, database referential integrity constraints not used. Okay, let's try to understand what is referential integrity. Azim, you want to try? Or shall I just start explaining? Remember we discussed that instead of using account name, account name, if you use account name for referencing, then we cannot maintain referential integrity because account name can be appearing twice there.
Same,
We cannot use SSN for referencing. even then we will be basically
okay.
jeopardizing referential integrity, right?
Okay.
So we should be using this primary key,
Primary key, row
right?
ID.
Row ID. So that is what the referential integrity means, right? When you reference, the integrity has to be maintained. It should be referencing only one thing. Is it right? So it's saying that it's the means by which Siebel application maintain referential integrity. As we all know, in Siebel, if I want to reference in contact table something on account, I'll be putting the row ID here, right? Will I be putting account name here?
No.
Will I be putting SSN here? No. Will I be putting primary key here, right? Is managed by Siebel application must not be modified by users. Well, they cannot. First of all, they cannot usually, right?
Yeah.
Right. Simple, right? By the way, if you want to find the row ID of any record, let's say this record, Azim, then you go to help, say about record, and you can see the row ID. That is the row number. The way to do it is, you go to help, about record, you can see this thing, row number. This number will be same. You want to check it? You want to check it? Okay. So I'll just take the name, okay, and I'll go to this thing. Okay, 1-1 UCX, right? One hyphen one UCX. Is it right? Is it same? Yes. So this row number is same, right? Making sense to you? All right. So is managed separate? It must not be modified by users. We all understand that. Actually, they would not be having the capability to understand. To do this thing.
Modified.
Yeah, modified. In Siebel, the GUI, the business component, everything is already made. They just do not provide that facility out of the box. Only a designer like us can expose that field and let people modify it, which obviously should not be done. So you should never make a design when it is a read-only field. In one of the applications that I have used, it is not a read-only field, it is an editable field, and they do edit it all the time and create problems for us. Duplicate Siebel IDs do exist in one of my projects. Okay,
Because
see
we
that
don't know, maybe.
that is existing 3-4 times. Okay, they do that all the time. Okay, sometimes they do make a mistake. The design was poor. Siebel ID was basically an editable field, and they edit it. That's what they do. They edit it. They change the things. They put some other field saying this will be okay. There is no deduplication on this field. If they enter the duplicate data, the application does not throw the error. That's why these things happen. Okay, so the designer did a very poor job basically, and I was not that guy. So don't worry.